11 things I wish someone would have told me before I started kayak fishing. Here we go. So kayak fishing is a different type of fishing, folks, and there's pros and cons to doing it. And there's also a lot of things I've learned over the years that I figured I'd share with you so you don't make the same mistakes that I did. This video was originally 41 things that I wish someone would have told me before I started kayak fishing, but I decided that was too long, and so I pared it down to 11. So you were getting the cream of the crop. I'm not even sure what that means. So if you think I missed one that should be in the top 11, well, let me know in the comments below. So let's get started. I'm gonna do the countdown starting with number 11. Number 11 is do your research. Have a plan. Now, most of us who now have a kayak were once fishing from the bank. Now there's a whole new world available to us. Where you were once limited to the bank where everyone else fishes, now you have access to all the honey holes that all the boats and kayaks have access to. So with this new freedom comes an advantage, and with that advantage comes a little wisdom, and that wisdom should be a plan. This is what I mean. This is what I do before I go out and fish a new body of water. I'll go online and I will try to find a topographical map of the lake so I know exactly what depth the entire lake is. Then I will research the water temperature of that lake. Then I will start reading the forums and seeing what other bass fishermen are doing on that particular lake, trying to figure out what the spawning stage the bass are in. This will help me determine where the bass are going to be and where they are suspended, which is then going to return show me how I need to set up all 6 of my rods and what lures I'm going to use. I'll talk about that in just a moment. Then what I'll do is I'll circle all the spots on the map that I know that I want to fish, and then I'll start connecting the dots of how I'm going to fish that day. And what I'll do is I'll either throw that map in my pocket or I'll take a picture on my phone and I'm good to go. Now, you're not guessing anymore. You have a plan, and the lake is your oyster, and now you've just increased your chances of landing more fish. Move on, number 10. Now, if you don't follow this piece of advice, you're almost guaranteed to ruin a perfectly good day out on the water. And I don't know about you, but I don't get out very often, so whenever I do, I want to make the most of it. So before you hop in your kayak, make a list of the tools that you're going to need out in the water in case something goes wrong. For example, I have a Native Slayer Propel 10. I don't know if you guys can see it hanging from the ceiling right now. But essentially I need a certain hex wrench for the propel drive, the pedal drive, and also a Phillips head screwdriver for my track mounts. If I don't have that, and I haven't before, it's a bad day for me. I learned this lesson a few years back. I was out in the water, kind of new to that particular boat, and the crank arm on my propel drive kept on wanting to come loose, which sucked. So essentially what I do is I had to grab the knife that I had, and I could barely get that thing tight. A little pro tip, never take them off. Just always leave them there. All my tools are completely rusted in the back of my kayak, but they still work when I need them to. All right, let's move on to number 9. This one might be boring for some of you, except if you're a DIYer, this might be right up your alley. And this is it. Put a keel guard on your kayak before it's too late. And when I say keel guard, what I really mean is do a DIY Kydex keel guard. Now, you can purchase keel guards out there, and the thing is, they're kind of expensive. And so if you want to have a high quality keel guard on the cheap, I made a video for you. You can check that out up in the cards. A DIY Kydex keel guard. And here's the cool thing about Kydex. It's extremely strong. It has a Rockwell hardness of 9, and when you heat it up, it's actually moldable. And whenever it cools down, it cures. And so it doesn't matter what type of hull is on your kayak, you're gonna be able to mold that Kydex to your particular boat. Now, don't be tempted to listen to other channels that proclaim to their YouTube community that their discovery of Gorilla Tape makes an excellent keel guard. They are lying to you. You know, I was watching one video where the guy was claiming that when he sprayed undercoating spray paint on the bottom of his kayak that it acted as an awesome keel guard. You should be ashamed of yourself, people. Okay, I reeled. Number 8. So you got this brand new kayak, or you bought it off Facebook Marketplace like I did. Now it's time to stop acting like a bank fisherman and get yourself an entry-level fish finder and tip the scales, pun definitely intended, in your favor. So the fish finder is gonna obviously help you locate fish below your kayak, but it's also gonna do 3 more things. It's gonna be super helpful when you're out there kayak fishing. Number 1, it's gonna show you your depth, and this is important because you don't wanna be floating in 3 feet of water when you think that you're floating in 10. And in a lot of cases, if the water's murky, you can't tell. The depth is also great to know if you like trolling while kayak fishing, because you don't wanna lose your expensive lure to the bottom of the lake because you didn't realize how shallow you were. It's also gonna show you your speed. Once you dial in that perfect speed for that bait that you know that the bite keeps producing over and over again, you got yourself a winner of a day. Without knowing your speed, you're literally just guessing. And the third great thing about a fish finder is that you can mark your waypoints, and you think to yourself, hey, I'm gonna remember every single place that I caught a fish. Trust me, if you fish for a long time in a lot of different lakes, you will forget. So having the waypoint benefit you moving forward. Number 7 is get some landing gear. Now there's a couple options out here. Here's my recommendations. Take it or leave it. If your kayak is under 35 pounds, then I recommend DIYing your landing gear. There's a smorgasbord of videos out there that will show you how to do this. A lot of them use PVC, and I know a lot of people are very happy with it. You can also go to Walmart and purchase landing gear. It's not that expensive. Now, if you have a fishing specific kayak, those are usually north of 35 pounds, I recommend getting some really nice landing gear that is designed for your specific kayak. This is not an area I would skimp on. Just bite the bullet. I highly recommend the pneumatic wheels because when you're rolling them across rocks and roots, it takes the brunt of the force. All right, number 6 of the things I wish people would have told me before I started kayak fishing is this. Now, unless you like making sacrifices to the fish gods by dropping your gear to the bottom of the lake, leash your crap. Your rods, your clippers, your pliers, your fish grips, whatever it is that you don't want to lose. If you're anything like me, you like making things with your hands, and for about 50 cents and a trip to the thrift store, you actually make some high quality DIY leashes that look like this. These guys are really easy to make. In fact, I have a video of how you can make them yourself by clicking up in the cards. Pro tip, if your wife or significant other doesn't let you buy any fishing gear, I wouldn't leash a thing. I mean, I dropped my old fishing rod in the water. It's unreasonable for me not to purchase another one, right? Right? Come on. Give me a like if you agree. It's just logical. Oh, the final 5. And if you're still sticking around, please hit that like button, that sub and bell notification. I'll keep videos like this coming your way. You know, the great thing about kayak fishing is it's a slower way of fishing, but every once in a while you have about an hour left and you want to fish that honey hole that you know is going to produce your personal best, but it's about a 15-minute paddle away, and you don't have an hour to fish all the different spots in order to get to there, so you got to move. This is where I wish someone would have told me about rod holders a lot earlier. Now, rod holders do just that, and they're great for kind of putting your rod in and when you're changing out a lure. That's one use, but the other use, which is the primary use for rod holders for me, is trolling. Now, if I need to kayak north of 10 minutes away, I'll throw a couple crankbaits on 2 rods, put them in both of my rod holders, and you would not believe how many bass, crappie, even catfish I pick up going from spot to spot. I recommend the Yak Attack Pro Mega rod holders, and if you're interested in those, I actually did a video on them, and I'll throw the link in the description below. Number 4. So, as you probably already figured out, there's not a lot of real estate on your fishing kayak. So I highly recommend making what you got really work for you. And many kayaks will have a place behind the seat, and this is where I recommend breaking out some tools and making the ultimate DIY kayak crate with 6 rod holders. And surprise, surprise, I got a video on how you can make one of these for yourself. And you can even modify it to fit your needs. These are pretty inexpensive to make, and this is where you put your tackle boxes, your tools, your horn, your batteries, your lunch, anything really. And also, you can see in this particular design, you have a lid and it has a bungee strap so you can stick your hat, your scale, whatever it is that you don't want blowing away. I made mine for like 25 bucks, literally no brainer here. Number 3. I get so excited sometimes to go fishing, I forget to check the weather report. And here's the thing, the bar for me to go fishing is really, really low. I wake up in the morning, I think to myself, yeah, I can breathe today. It's the perfect day to go fishing. You might be thinking, yeah, Darren, check the weather report. Well, here's the thing. A lot of times when we check the weather report, we just look at whether or not it's going to rain or not. But what I recommend to you is check the wind report as well. Now, what you want to be doing out the water is fighting fish, not necessarily fighting the wind. And so if you see a wind report that's pretty high, you might actually want to bring an anchor with you, which I know for me, I usually leave at home. Oh, we're almost there. Number 2. Let's be honest, I see a lot of videos out there where boaters and jet skis will harass kayak fishermen. And regardless of fault, we are at a disadvantage because we move the slowest and we simply can't get out of the way in time. So practice some basic defensive kayak fishing and you are going to have a good time out on the water. Also, I wouldn't mess too much with kayak fishing. I did a poll recently on my community page and I proposed this question. What is it that you carry for protection when you're out kayak fishing? And 31% said they're packing heat. 37% said they're carrying a knife. 2% got some hands on them. 6% said, basically by the look of them, you don't want to mess around. And 24% said nothing. And to be honest with you, I think those are the most dangerous. The X factor, you just don't know what they're gonna do. And the number one thing I wish someone would have told me before I started kayak fishing is this. If you want to catch more fish, and I know you do, and if you want to catch big fish, learn how to fish the wacky worm. Notice I didn't say learn how to rig the wacky worm. I didn't say go find a video and watch somebody else catch a fish using the wacky worm. Learn how to use the wacky worm style. If you can master this, you will catch more bass and catch them in numbers. Guaranteed. Nothing I fish with outperforms this particular rig. If this video brought you value, I want to invite you into the community. Hit that sub and bell and like button, and I will see you in the next video or out in the water. Thanks guys and girls. Thanks for watching. Bye.